I wasn't trying to go live right now, even though I should be going live now right now because I'm late. Ooh, Angie, girl, girl. There it is. Hang on, stop my live stream. There it is. Hang on, stop my live stream. Had to mute myself. Oh, it hurt my feelings. I heard Angie Stone tragically passed away. What's going on, Brian? I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Any Angie Stone fans in the house? Like, this was one of those hurtful ones because I love soulful music. Okay. I love soulful music. I'm glad that soulful music has not been one of those genres of music that has been corrupted, right? It stays relatively underground. We actually lost another awesome soul singer a couple of years ago from Detroit, Amp Fiddler. And that was actually just a really sad energy to lose. Any Amp Fiddler fans in the house, you got to be soul singers or soul fans to really understand these artists. But we lost a very prolific and just artistic, creative energy in the soul community out here in Detroit, Amp Fiddler. And it was just kind of like hearing Angie Stone pass on was kind of like hearing Amp die. So it's sad, and often when these artists die, we don't hear too much about them, right? I haven't really heard much coming out from Angie Stone. I didn't even know that she had a record out that came out last November, right? Until I caught the one of her last live streams. And obviously, when one of your respectable artists pass on, you automatically go to their catalog. So if you like Black Brothers by her brother, that's one of my favorite songs. I revisited that song today because I feel like in the last maybe 5 years, I've gained a greater appreciation for my Black brothers. I think that we operate sometimes not understanding the true value of our people. And it's like I go back and I revisit the strength of our people. And it's like I used to be one of those people. I had a very liberal mindset. And so, my mindset was that, we're all people, love everybody, all that stuff. But like I would say, in the last 5 years, my perspective has really, really changed. And I think when I see women like Angie Stone dedicate a whole song to the soul, the being, the understanding of Black men, it's like I almost like feel like it's my responsibility as a Black woman to, just really digest some of those things. So it was really disappointing to hear that she had passed on in a car accident. And then obviously Miss You is one of my favorite. I mean, honestly, ooh, I geeked to that. Oh my God. I hated that Angie is gone. She had mentioned in her live stream that she had more projects coming up. And so, how unfortunate, like I said, that she's not with us anymore. But I happened to catch this live stream, and Angie Stone is actually, and this is one of her last live streams that she did before her untimely death. And in this live stream, Angie is revealing some things about the record label that she was working with that is not surprising to me. It's not surprising to me. What's up, Tamor? I see you, Brian, and then reading books. How are you? So, some of the things that Angie says that she went through with these record labels. Oops, let me mute that one. I had the wrong one. Some of the things that she's talking about that she went through with her label is not surprising. If you know a lot of the Black artists back in the 90s, for example, a lot of those people, ended up going broke. A lot of them are broke, right? Because they had bad record deals, right? The music industry essentially will give you their lawyers to act on your behalf, but really they're acting on the behalf of the record company. And a lot of these black artists, and this has been true for decades, they just want to get signed. They just want to be famous because of their music, right? But a lot of them don't realize that fame comes with a price. And the more ignorant you are going into these deals with some of these labels, right? The more you could be signing away your very life, your very craft. And this is how some of these leeches, these demons who are not creative themselves, this is how they have leveraged black people, black talent forever, right? They dangle, a lot of money and a record deal, right? And a lot of black people feel like they made it because they got this record deal, right? But they don't realize how much of themselves they are really selling until it gets to the point where they're not selling, right? And then they drop, some music and they realize, why do I feel like I'm not getting paid for all of this work that I'm doing? And then when they start to really do the homework, do the research, dig into the deals that they've made, right, they realize that I literally signed a deal with the devil. And a lot of these artists have said little things like this. They have mentioned it in their song. I signed a deal with the devil. Some people's deal with the devil goes really, really well for them, right? Because they got to keep playing and selling their soul in some kind of way. Or they have to keep maintaining or wielding some kind of influence that they want them to be projecting, right? And sometimes it just don't go well for other people because they just don't, wield a lot of influence long term. And so people like Angie Stone, especially in that soul category, unfortunately, that's not the influence that they want in the mainstream. They don't want people, they want to be, corrupting your soul. They want to be owning your soul. They want to be taking your soul, right? Buying your soul. They don't want music that touches your soul, right? This is why soul music isn't that hyper popular category, right? Even neo soul struggles sometimes, right? It's still kind of more underground than it really should be for a genre that a lot of people really do dig, right? But they're just throwing us a bunch of bullshit a lot of times. And a lot of these artists aren't as organically good as people like Angie Stone was, who was actually a producer. I mean, this person was a real artist. She wasn't some person with a team of 1,000 people trying to make her look like an organic artist, right? So, rest in peace, Angie Stone. But Angie got some things to say about her experience dealing with some record labels, and I guess from her from what she's claiming, these people have been outright stealing from her. Let me make sure that this is where
sharing with my fans. Okay, we're at 45. Let me get 50. Let me get 60. And I'm going to give y'all 5 more minutes to get some more people's face on there. Feature Juanita Wynn and Jay Brett. And to get this bit of information, no, I didn't make it a secret reveal. I should have. What happened 2 days before my show? Whew. But God.
And it sucks because it really kind of sucks because she had a show in Detroit. And you know how you say, okay, it's, you see it and it's like, okay, I'm not going to budget going to see Angie Stone because you're assuming that I can see Angie Stone anytime, right? So this Detroit show that she's talking about, I didn't buy tickets. I figured, okay, I'm going to catch her on the next time that she's in Detroit. And this is what happens when you have artists that you really like and they're in your city, especially some of these old school cats, some of these more seasoned artists that you still love their stuff, you still rock with their stuff. Like if they are in your city, a lot of times you might want to just catch them in your city because you never know. I mean, look at Chris Cornell. Honestly, I didn't have tickets to that show. But I really wish I would have had tickets to the Chris Cornell show, because honestly, if I'd known that that would be the last time, and his last performance was in Detroit, if I had known that that was the last time that Chris Cornell would ever perform again, I would have went to that show. I would have did everything I could to get to that show. But this is just to say that when you really love these artists, especially the ones, the organically good artists, sometimes you really got to go out of your way to support them, because it could be a situation where there is not going to be a next time that you're going to see some of these people.
I'm trying to keep from crying because the devil was very particular in targeting me. But anyway, I was rushed to the hospital because I wasn't breathing so well. Came to find out, I had what was a bacterial blood infection that I
Okay, I'm going to kind of skip over this. She's talking about her having some medical issues, which impacted her ability to be able to perform in Detroit. So Angie Stone she wasn't even able to make it to the Detroit show.
to praise God. Need to be calling him by his name, so I began to scream his name. When they brought me to us, when they told me I was lucky to be alive because I was on the floor. And
So she had a medical crisis, which prevented her from being able to get to the Detroit show.
solid with God, he can be on him. God he knew that I was about to come into some things. And as I began to come back to myself completely, I remembered everything that I was working on. I remember the people that were in my immediate circle that were supposed to be there to help me. By the time it was all said and done, the Christmas song had been snatched down for what reason. I wasn't in a position to really fight that. I had to fight to live. So I couldn't worry about that because I knew that it would take care of itself, but not without the devil trying to blame me for the mishap. Lo and behold, I won't call any names, but people quit on me because they thought it was me. Like I said, I can't call any names because I'm not that vicious. I don't want to hurt anybody, and I really don't want it to be their downfall. But I will tell you, people left me in that dark moment when I really needed support. My kids were there for me. My true friends were there for me because they knew.
And prayers to all of her friends and family and her children. This is, obviously, this is an artist going through the ebbs and flow of trying to make it in an industry that she's been in for over 40 years. Mind you, Angie Stone is not some new artist. This woman has been really clawing her way to trying to, kind of make it in that satanic industry forever. She just wasn't practical about what she was dealing with.
This is serious. They thought that blood infection would have damaged my heart, so I went and stabbed. But I'm a hard worker. I play hardball, but I love twice as hard. And because I do love my fans, and especially shout out to Raheem Devon, who got on the stage in Detroit that night in my place, and he had the entire audience say, "Get well soon." He called me, "Sis, what's going on?" And when he found out, he said, "I got you." So I owe you one, bro. I owe you one. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, as I was coming through all of this, I soon found out that one of the biggest companies that I was with, Universal Music, it's the second part of the ugly truth. We began to research things.
This 24. So she's about to get into how she believes that Universal Music Group, consequently the same label, record label that Drake is now suing and has had lawsuits against, right, and other artists as well. Um, she's now talking about how they essentially screwed her over, right? 24-hour sale may be screened. Now, mind you, Angie Stone is not a Drake. She's not a Drake. She doesn't have some $400-500 million deal.
To check on my royalties and my statements and things that of that nature, only to find out a lot, excuse me, guys, a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. As I begin to find out things that I never had to look into, because when you hire a team of people that to some degree supposed to have your back, you're thinking that they're getting it all together for you. You know, that's why, you know, I respect Oprah Winfrey in that respect when she said, do your own research.
You got to do your own research. These people are demons.
That I let a lot of important things slip through the cracks only because I didn't know any better. I worked very hard to take care of my kids as a single mother, and I'm being transparent. My kids' fathers just were not doing what they're supposed to do. So I had to step up and go in and do everything that I needed to do for my family, which is why I worked so hard, which is why I traveled so much, which is why I did shows, because at the end of the day, after 40-something years in the business, I'm like, well, why? Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered the songs, all the songs that I've done. I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered.
That's awful. So this poor woman, before her untimely death, got on an impromptu live stream and essentially exposed that the record label that she has been working with has not necessarily been acting in her best interest, or at least an interest of understanding. And that as opposed to her getting even a fragment of her hard work, a fraction, it seems as though they were getting 100% of the royalties of her effort. This is so disgusting to me, and this is why I am such a selfish artist. I'm a very, very selfish artist. I have so much art. I have so much poetry. I have so much music. And I will literally just, like, I won't share it. I will not share it because I don't want certain types of people with their disgusting hands on my work. And if you are an artist that actually care about your work, your art, right, you should be the only one making money of it. You know, you should take what you can get. Fuck these big distributors, right? They'll make you rich and famous and sell your dream, but they're buying you. A lot of these people are buying you. They're buying everything that you do when you get in bed with them because they're disgusting. They're not talented, right? They have to leech off of other people's talent. And, you know, with Black people, we've seen it time and time again. These industries don't work without us. The music industry would not be able to survive with just white artists, We know this 100%. They would not be able to survive with just white artists, right? You take the black ones out and you will see the collapse, right? Taylor Swift can't hold down the industry. She can't. But I say this to say that they count on the black artists not being as equipped with the lawyers or with the understanding to really dive into these contracts. A lot of times they're taking people from the mud who are struggling, who really want it, right? And they're giving them the opportunities of their dreams, right? They got them, kind of primed into these rich people lifestyle, and they don't even realize that everything that they're doing is an upfront payment, and they're going to have to pay all that stuff off. And off of that, they don't own their publishing, they don't own their art, they don't own anything that they are producing, right? And this is what she's saying, is that UMG basically absorbed all of her royalties. Like, she didn't get shit for anything that she did,
by the company
according to her.
Over to people that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I'm truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen.
I believe you, girl.
Money that I'm supposed to be. I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made.
I believe you.
But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. See, I'm not an attorney. I don't know everything. What I learned how to do was go out, work hard, get paid, come home, pay my bills, take care of my family. That part. The legal side, when you hire attorneys and managers and agents, they're supposed to make sure the gray area over there that they're in the driver's seat for, they're supposed to make sure you're taken care of.
It depends on where you're getting an attorney. I mean, this is why when you're dealing with these record labels, when you're dealing with these people, you gotta go out and get your own lawyers, right? Because they'll say, oh yeah, we'll get you a lawyer, right? They can look over these people. They already got these roster of people on deck that is ready to work in their interest, right? And to her point, Oprah told her, you got to do research, right? You got to understand contract durations. You got to understand what those terms are, what it means for you, right? You know what I mean? Watch any contract that has anything dealing with life in there, right? For life, you see those words, right? Red flag automatically. Understand the context of what's being said, right? This is where reading becomes very fundamental, right? And people cannot just be an artist these days. They have to be a mini attorney. And unfortunately, a lot of black artists have got in the music industry because they did not take the time to just hire somebody to read what the fine print was saying, unfortunately. And so now they run into situations where the label is basically getting 100% royalties when they're under the assumption that they were supposed to get a piece of their effort, right? These music labels operate as like slave owners, like truly slave owners.
And even though they were taking care of themselves, they thought very little of taking care of me. And I know because I've seen it with my own eyes. So I'm just here to let you know, one way or the other, Universal Music, you're going to have to give up my coins. And so what I'm doing now is whatever is necessary to make sure they pay me for the legacy of my life.
Didn't Aaron Carter put Universal Music Group on blast right before he died suddenly, unexpectedly? Am I wrong about that? Was it who was it that owed Aaron Carter? Remember Nick Carter's brother? He was talking about these people owing money. These people are after him, and what Aaron Carter was saying that they owed him was like $3 million. It's like I know UMG is not trying killing folks over $3 million. Like get out of here with that, right? Y'all that broke. Y'all can't give up $3 million to Aaron Carter and let that dude go live his best life. So when these, it seems to me as when some of these sort of off the radar artists start coming back and talking about you guys owe me money, where's my money, blah blah blah, then all of a sudden they just suddenly, it just seems to be a pattern, and I'm sure there's some internet Nancy Drews out there that will probably do a montage about all the, sort of C and D list music artists who kind of are deemed as crazy as they're saying that their label owes them money and whoop de whoop de whoop. And then all of a sudden, suddenly they get knocked off by drugs or some weird thing. I think it's kind of weird. Angie Stone was unfortunately killed in a car accident. So we're waiting to hear more about what could have possibly went wrong there. But it seems as though when you start talking that the record labels owe you money, right, then all of a sudden you are not going to be here for very long. So that's just, kind of weird. What's going on? I see some of you guys. You said, do I think her death was foul play? I mean, it could be a regular car accident, right? But they're able to make a lot of stuff look like an accident, right? That's the whole idea, is to make it look clean, right? Nobody notices, right? But the patterns don't lie. The patterns don't lie. And you have people like Angie Stone going after UMG. You got artists like Drake going after UMG. There's probably a number of other class action lawsuits and other lawsuits against UMG. And again, these people are greedy leeches, right? They want to leech off your talent without paying you for it, right? This is how a lot of those people roll. They will use you, use you until they use you up, right? And that's how a lot of these record labels are. So black people really need to stop trying to get in bed with these record labels, right? Get your coins from your block. The minute you start playing with these labels, it's like our brothers just died. Like Young Dolph, like I think he was independent, but he was getting a lot more attention by these labels, right? They wanted to own that brother. And what happened? He didn't want them to own him. So what happened? Brother lived all that time in his hood, not getting killed. These brothers be jumping off the porch when they like 11, 10, 11, right? You making it to 25, 26 years old, your hood is not about to kill you. Some record label is about to coordinate some ninja to kill you at that point if you making music and you don't want them to own you. That's really how I think this is working, and this is why, we saw that influx of those independent black brothers, right, just suddenly dying, a lot of those rappers, right? It wasn't no gang violence. Brothers ain't staying in these hoods all they damn life over 25, 28, and then all of a sudden they get famous in the hood, and then somebody from their hood. We not that stupid, right? I mean, some people that stupid, but I'm not that stupid, right? There's a label is doing that, in my opinion. In my opinion. But anyways, let me know what y'all think about this. And it's interesting how they can grab all these brothers from the street, right? Knowing what they into, right? Get them all famed up, make money off of their fame and all that stuff like that. And they know that they into dirty shit, right? So they always got a RICO case in the back pocket so that they can steal from these brothers' talents in peace. Who's making money off of Pooh Shicey's music right now while he's in jail? That's what I want to know. Who's making money off of brothers who are locked up where they have siphoned their talent and then got them caught up on a RICO charge? These people are dirty. And black people going to get enough of just doing business with anybody. There's a reason why sometimes, you got to go with the devil that you know, and sometimes the devil that you know just will be better off as your own people, right? Because some of these people are dirty as hell. They're dirty as hell. Look at a lot of these black artists when they're getting tied up to some of these non-black ran labels, right? They're getting screwed over, and they are counting on black ignorance to be able to screw us over. Some of y'all dumb as hell. Some of y'all are really dumb as hell. And especially because you can make a lot of money being an independent artist. Matter of fact, I feel like independent artists make more than some of these people tied down to these shiesty ass labels, because these people are just getting their money cut all kinds of ways before they even see it reach their pockets. At least with the independent artist, no, you don't have this big distribution machine, but if you got enough social media influence, that's all you really need. And a lot of these labels understand that more than ever. That's why a lot of them are crashing. They're not doing very well because this is the age of way digital media where people can make money off of their talent and they can bypass the whole label machine. You don't need a record label to be famous anymore. They'll hype you up like you do. They have a lot of the connections, but at the same time, you don't necessarily need a record label to be famous anymore at all. So that's just my rant about these labels because I can't stand them. I cannot stand them, right? They're snakes in the grass at best. And I don't think any artist, no matter what color you are, but especially my black artists, y'all shouldn't be wanting to take up with them anymore. But anyways, rest in peace, Angie Stone. Very talented woman. I think that me personally, I would have liked to seen more from her. But, it is what it is. Off that, excuse me, I was looking at that full Trump Zelensky interview or meeting or whatever, and I did a live stream on it yesterday because I thought it was just hilarious to me. But one of the things that I noticed, somebody was like, yeah, he tried to, kind of pull the whole smoke screen over JD Vance and Trump. And apparently what they didn't say and what you learn later on is that there was 10 days of conversation prior to that meeting. And apparently there was not a lot of common ground in those conversations leading up to that conversation that Trump and Zelensky and all of them had with JD Vance, with Zelensky or whatever. So they did not, that meeting, no matter how much they tried to showboat and act like they were trying to have some understanding, right? There was really some bad blood brewing prior to that meeting. And I think that is why, Trump, didn't really care, or at least JD Vance did not care about going to fuck off on Zelensky like that. But off that, Zelensky pulled that, card that, Netanyahu likes to pull on the United States as well, where he brings a bunch of pictures of their atrocities, right? And so he's sitting up there, and I'm looking at Trump's face as he's trying to go through his catalog of pictures to get some empathy from Trump so that he can keep funding the Ukrainian war because he sees all these pictures. And it's like, unfortunately, a lot of people are stoic about a lot of that stuff these days, unfortunately, because it's just too rampant. But I think that, that didn't go the way that Zelensky thought it was going to go, right? And I think that if he was trying to narrate Trump as being somebody who doesn't care about the Ukrainian people and not being very sympathetic or anything like that, if anything, Trump did a great job of making the case of why Volodymyr Zelensky don't care about his own damn people. And when he said, this is why I let this go on for as long as it did so that the people can see what's going on, even Volodymyr Zelensky was like, my people can't, cease fire. My people won't cease fire, And obviously, he might as well just tell the truth that the powers that be that really want him to continue to fight the Russians, because in their mind, The Russians will keep fighting us in these proxy wars. We're going to get some weapons from the West, right? And we want Russia to deplete their armory, right? That's really the goal with prolonging the Ukrainian war for the Democrat globalist mindset is we can deplete Russia from their armory so they're not going to be that threatening. So when we really do move on them, which I personally believe that Russia understands their own volatility and they're going to be kamikaze with the shits all day. I don't really think that some of these Western nations who have underestimated Russia, right, how, they're going to respond to threats on their homeland. Because just as much as many people love Mother America, right, their people love Mother Russia. And they're not going to just let a national security threat sit in their backyard. So I think that this is going to be an interesting thing to see pan out. I think if Volodymyr Zelensky was smart, right, he would do what is in the interest of peace for his people. And it's really just to sign a peace treaty saying that you will never, ever, 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 ever join NATO, right? And Russia would need to agree that these people can maintain their little culture in Ukraine and their independence without being usurped by the Russian Federation, right? I think that that's a reasonable trade-off, right? Then people continuously being killed. So that's just my opinions. And because I'm an American and my tax dollars go to these foreign nations, I have every damn right to talk about these issues. I get so fucking tired of people talking about you're not even from these countries. It's like, bitch, as long as my earnings are going to support the problems in your country, we gonna talk about that shit all damn day. If you don't want Americans talking about the issues in your damn country, then stop asking our damn country to help you hold your hand through the issues that you're having in the country. But as long as American taxpayers' dollars are going to any country abroad, Americans have the freedom of speech to say whatever we want to say about those countries abroad that our earnings are going to. That includes Israel and Ukraine, right? These people are not our friends. And I don't believe that we are all as friendly as we are saying. It's a lot of usury going on, and people don't want to call that shit out. But off that, let me get off of that rant because there's a whole lot to say about that. But anyways, rest in peace, Angie Stone. What's your favorite Angie Stone song if you are a fan? Like I said, I like Brother. I like Miss You. That's one of my favorite songs. I love it. That woman was talented. Her lyrical content on point. If you into that soulful funk vibe, I love soul music. I do. I love modern soul music. I mean, I dig the neo soul, genre, but I love just that raw organic soul. So let me know what you guys think. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. What's going on, Fred? I see you. What's going on, Rose Gardens? We need to help the homeless veterans and homeless people in the United States before you invite outsiders in. Game over. Fred has spoken, everybody, and I agree. You take care of home first. You take care of home first. I mean, I would be like a terrible mother if, my kids were starving or something in the house and I'm out there giving bread and fruit and everything to all the other kids. It's like something's wrong. There's a disconnect. You take care of home first. You can't help other people until you help your own people. Your first tribe are the people at home, the people in your nations, your neighbors, your community, stuff like that. Those are your first tribe. You going all around the world to help everybody and their mama. And you got homeless people on the streets that actually served your country. You go into those VAs and you hear those veteran stories and stuff, and it's like, dang, I'm sorry that you even went over there to risk your life for some bullshit, only to come back, and then your country is turning their back on you. It's insane to me. It seemed like some of these, B league people in the government with these dumbass jobs, they got better benefits than the veterans do. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Poor Angie, she made another point that which is a sad reality of a lot of artists working 40 years in an industry, and this woman couldn't even retire. She was 63 when she passed on. 63 years old. And considering the fact that this woman has been an artist for over 40 years, I don't know what Angie Stone did with her money too. So I mean, that's another thing. I don't know how they were dispersing her money. I don't know how that, what share of her talent she was actually getting from this label. But 63 years old, and you were not able to retire, and you've been in an industry for 40 years, that is a shame. That is a shame. That is sad. And we going to pray for this woman. We going to pray for this woman and her family, because she said that she was a single mother. So she do have some grown kids that are impacted by their mother's death. So we're going to pray for the family and friends of Angie Stone, the fans of Angie Stone, and just bump her music. But one thing that I'm not going to do is run out and buy her music. Because if anything that I buy goes to Universal Music Group, I don't really want to support it. I don't. So that's one thing I'm not going to do, is I'm not going to go out and buy anything of Angie Stone's if I know that it's not going directly to her family. And that's my position on it, because it seems like this woman has been siphoned enough by these greedy devils. So let me know what you guys think. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will catch you guys. Oh, hang on. Let me go back here because I'm always missing the comments. I can't eat, I can't sleep anymore. Waiting for you to walk through the door. She was a talented woman. What a shame. What a shame. But our chat is light tonight, so I'm going to keep it light tonight. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and love your neighbors as yourself. And again, hey, if you got an artist that you love from back in the day, okay, support them while you can, because sometimes it might be the last time they might be in your city, right? Like I said, Chris Cornell, last show was in Detroit. I didn't go. Had I known that was going to be the last time, I would have went to go see Chris Cornell. I love all music. Angie Stone, she didn't even make it to the Detroit show. But I didn't even have plans to go to the Detroit show, because I figured, okay, I'm going to catch her on the next time, right? But we see how funny life is, and that sometimes your favorite artists will be in your city, and then the next week they're dead. So support your favorite artists while they are still alive. So you guys have a wonderful day. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you would not disrespect or abuse yourself, do not disrespect or abuse your neighbor. Bye.